Hello there. This is the Nomad, otherwise known by the long name, the Supernote A6X2. We're going to do an unboxing of this thing. As I do that, I'll kind of talk about some of the key differences of this device versus the previous iteration. And then we're going to actually look into some of the features with a focus on the changes that have taken place from the A6X to the A6X2. So that'll be the focus of this video. Let's have some fun with that. Quick comment. So I initially got an email from Supernote basically saying my device would be available on the 27th, and I was a little disappointed at that because other people were going to get them earlier, and but it was fine. I resigned myself to that. Then the day that it arrived, I received a notice that it was going to arrive, which was very exciting, and this was a week earlier than anticipated, roughly. But then I received another Supernote after I get the DHL notice that it's coming, telling me that actually my package is going to arrive a day later than Supernote had originally indicated. So really weird. The final cherry on top of all this is that that there was a signature required in order for me to receive the package, which I normally hate, by the way. I'd rather they just leave it at the front door. It's going to be fine. I have plenty of cameras, to make sure no one takes it. But they required a signature. I happened to be home at the time that they came by. I had a notification they were there. I opened the door. The DHL person was going to take their picture and leave, had no interest in getting this signature. So just all sorts of fun and interesting tidbits about how this device got here. So anyway, kind of an inauspicious start, but hopefully not one particularly symbolic to the experience overall. But having said that, let's get into it and start unboxing this thing. I've already taken the liberty of tearing up the DHL envelope, and it comes in this very nondescript white envelope. This is interesting. Not sure how to open this. Well, that's interesting. Okay, pretty cool. It's a little Merry Christmas bag from Supernote, I guess, in case it's a gift. I didn't indicate that. I don't recall when ordering it, but that's a nice touch. Little gift bag there. Okay, great. And then here is the device itself. Nothing else in the bag. So nice, minimalist packaging. All recyclable. It looks like it's cardboard. Cardboard's great for recycling. That's awesome. There is the folio and then the device. And you've got Supernote there on top. That looks great. All right, let's take a look. I'd remove this sticker here. Okay. Oh, and then here's the stylus. Okay, so let's pull all that out. We'll start with the device. And then we've got the folio. And finally, the stylus. Very interesting box design. There you go. All right, let's start with the stylus. Now, the stylus is a little different than the traditional heart of metal pen, which I have for my other Supernote device, which has, the ceramic nib. This one has the ceramic nib as well, but it's actually the standard pen, but it has that ability to click on it in order to... how's this open? There we go. Oops. There we go. Sorry. So you click on it and see it comes out. So that's a way, instead of having a cap to protect your nib, you can use, I think they call this the push pen, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, you get the pen is mightier than the sword. So a lot of thoughtfulness put into the packaging. What's with this insert? Okay, just standard boilerplate information about that. All right, sorry about that. I had a little bit of a pause as the phone went off. Okay, so there's your push pen. As you can see, it says Supernote. See if we get that into focus. Ooh, almost had it. There we go. Supernote, and then some strange square design here on top. I'm not sure what that's about. This pen was only available in this color. I have to say it's kind of a cream color, and my initial reaction to that is not necessarily the best color, from my opinion, but it's fine. All right, here's the Folio. Oh my goodness. Okay, the pull tab comes off. I'm gonna have to get my X-Acto blade. All right. The Folio is interesting. One of the, when the A6X2, I'm just going to call it Nomad from here on out because I can't possibly say the full title. And they're smart for moving away from just the standard title and giving it a name like Nomad. First off, who wants to say A6X2? First off, and then but secondly, Nomad is a nice marketing name. It's playing on the fact that it's a smaller size, therefore more mobile. So good marketing on Supernote's part, in my opinion. Anyway, one of the changes with the Nomad is the fact that the Folio is connected via magnets as opposed to a rail system. And I'll show you what the rail system used to look like. Here we go. There's another inspirational quote. The secret to happiness is freedom, and the secret to freedom is courage. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. All right, there we go. Got a little insert and some protection strips for the magnets. See if we can get those off. Very protective, as it's hard to peel off. There we go. All right. Excellent. And of course, a loop for the stylus. So just connect the stylus like that. And there it goes. And again with the magnets. Now this varies from what they had used previously, which was this rail system. This is for a larger device. This is the A5X. But the A5X and the A6X both use this rail system to connect, and it was a pretty good system. I mean, a little bit of effort to take the device out, so presumably the magnets will be better for that. But honestly, given how thin the cover is, I've never actually wanted to take the device out, so I've never minded the rail system. I do generally like magnetic systems better, but for the Supernote, I wasn't as concerned about it. But that is one difference between the two devices. I should pause and say that when the A6X was originally talked about and discussed in Reddit on the Supernote page, there were only two changes that were basically highlighted. And one change was around the replaceable battery, and the other change was the fact that the device could either run on Android or Linux, presumably depending on what the user wanted to choose as the operating system. But there's actually other changes as well. So the magnet touches on one of those, and we'll touch on all of the other changes that were kind of surprises that really only came to light roughly a month or so ago when this was finally announced. So there's actually, it turned out that it was going to be more of a significant upgrade than had been originally stated. So we'll talk about that and see what the impact of that is. Okay, but for now, we continue with the unboxing. And we're finally getting down to the device. Now there's two versions of the device. There is one version that has a standard kind of white shell, and it's probably very similar to the original Supernote, or that is to say the X series Supernote. This is again the A5X. You can see where the rail system would go. You can see that I've been using it for a few years, so I'm getting some marks on it, but otherwise holding up quite well. So you have one version that has a shell that's kind of similar in color to this, but then you have a crystal one. And this one's the crystal one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see what that looks like. Yet another buzz phrase from the good folks at Supernote. Let's go ahead and here's the device itself. And there is that crystal design. Wow, look at that. Look at that shine. You know, I saw images of this. This looks really cool. You've got your, I believe that's your battery on this side. That's an SD card slot. In theory, I'm told that both the battery as well as the motherboard are replaceable on this device. So interesting. The SD card slot, I think this is a 32 gigabyte and it can be expanded. The internal storage is 32 gigabyte. And then the card can expand it to 2 terabyte, which is roughly the standard nowadays for expansion on e-ink devices. But that is a nice design. My goodness. Okay. And then the front cover. And here's another interesting change. So in the Supernote previously, you had your slider bar here on the right. And now on the new Supernotes, it's on the right and the left. And interesting, I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera, but the clear design, obviously it's mainly clear from the back side. But on the front side, you can kind of see that theme still carries through. So even looking at the front, some aspects of the clear design come out as well. So that's very interesting. We have a removal tool here. Again, to facilitate adding that SD card or replacing that battery. So it's nice they give you a little tool. There's certainly plenty of screws to work around with. And then finally, of course, your traditional quick start guide and a USB-C cable with kind of a unique kind of angled design. So that's interesting. All right, and then just a quick look at the quick start guide, and pretty straightforward. And we're actually going to go through that process right now. Let's go ahead and put this stuff aside. Actually, just before we do that, let's go ahead and put this away so I don't cut myself. And see how the device sits with the magnet. So I'm just going to place it on top. It snaps in there pretty well. That's nice. Great grip. Okay, there's a sense of the thickness right there. Very interesting. And then you fold this back. Looks great. Oh, that reminds me. How can I forget? Gotta weigh this thing. So we'll pry this off. It's got a really good grip, but all right, here we go. Okay, 264 grams for the device. Cover weighs 134 grams. And then the stylus, 10 grams. Barely registers. Was a good 10 there for a second. That's very light for a stylus. Let's see what it comes to all together. It does feel light. I didn't think about that when I was first holding it, but now that... And all together, 404 grams. So very light package, and it feels light. It has a little bit of heft to it. It doesn't feel insubstantial at all, but definitely not too bad in terms of weight. Okay, all right. Love the scale. Okay, let's go ahead and get this started. Then we're going to go through the boot. Oh, there. Where is the power button? Okay, so that's the USB-C, so the power button's over here on the right. I'm going to hold it down. And there we go. So all those instructions we saw on the front of the screen was actually the screensaver. It was not like a plastic sheet on top. So we're going to look at a few things. We showed the back of the device, had the replaceable battery, the SD slot. I'm going to play with these slider bars. They do a few things. They help with the eraser functionality. They help with redoing, undoing, and then there's supposed to be a page thing we'll take a quick look at. This has a sensor, so it allows you to move into landscape mode. And there's templates that take advantage of that. So we'll take a look at what templates they have. And I'll make a few comments finally around the screen itself, which has what's called the Feelwrite 2. That's actually a Wacom technology that they're utilizing with the Supernotes. The A5X, I understand, ships with the Feelwrite 2 screen, so it's not a proprietary to the new the X2 series, but it is certainly comes with the new devices as well. So let's go ahead and go through this process real quick and show you how that works. So we'll go OK. Oops. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log in with my password. All right, connected to Wi-Fi. You have options around the date and time, and then the network will provide the time. That's great. Okay, we're all good there. Sure, always happy to help. And I am right-handed, so they do have the software UI set up where if you're left-handed, they can accommodate that. Okay. The right sidebar works exactly as it worked before. If you're not familiar with the Supernote, that means you're swiping down to activate a sidebar. The sidebar can allow you access to, there's a button to go to the more recent files. There's also where you can put, basically pin files, and there are some other shortcuts in there as well. And a refresh of the screen is simply swiping up. Okay, and this is continuing to say the same thing. Oh, I guess they want me to do it. Okay, and there's the, right, so they're walking, this is a tutorial. So we can create a new note. Fine, we'll create a new note. One of the nice things is it starts off with this name, but if you click on it again, you can then get rid of it and then just type from fresh, new note. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just put a standard template on there. Oh, sorry, create. All right, and we're going to look at some new tools. Actually, this is all pretty standard from the previous one. I'm going to do a video later, not on this video, but I'll do a tour of all the functionality of the Supernote using the Nomad. So that will be upcoming, but we're going to just focus here on going through the tutorial process, and then we'll talk about the new features. Okay. Here we go. Yes, this is all standard. Okay, so you can just drag the toolbar wherever you want it. Okay, there's your brief tour. Let's try out this Feelwrite. Oh my goodness. Okay, that initially it was very rough, but now the new. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure what I think about that. Let me put this side by side and just get a sense. Okay, so the old screen, again, this is the A5X, has a very smooth, I think I've heard people talk about it's kind of like writing with a gel pen. And that's partly because the surface itself has kind of a gel-like screen protector. So very smooth. This is a little rougher. And it grips more. Wow. Yeah, that's... The texture feels... You feel a little bit of grit, but just a touch. This is a much smoother texture than this one is. This is not as It's just a little bit textured. I don't know if I like this. How to print. Huh. Let's try that. Two finger. Oh, that's nice. So, oh wait, what happened there? There we go. One of the problems with the original, the X series Supernote is that you use an eraser by putting your two fingers on the screen and then erasing, and it's a little bit inconsistent. When it works, it's very convenient. And I find that if you try to get your fingers as close to the corner as possible, that generally works quite well. But with the new Nomad, with this sidebar, it's supposed to hopefully make it better. So by being able to put your fingers here, okay, so it does work. So that's good. It probably takes a little bit of getting used to. So that's good, but I'm not sure. This writing experience is not the best. It may take some time. Maybe I'll get used to it, but my initial impressions are I'm not super enthralled with it. So what about... It's a little bit better, not that different. Shouldn't be different because they're both using ceramic nibs. That is something I'll have to work with more and keep an eye on. But my initial impressions of Feelwrite 2, I'm not warming to this right off the bat. So, but it's getting a little easier. I think the shock of it is kind of wearing off. How about now? Yeah, it's okay. I'm starting to get used to it. Whoops. There we go. But I think I like the old style better. But again, I'll play with it more. Let's work with, let's see, undo is swiping up. Okay, that's good. Redo swiping down. Okay, excellent. That's perfect. Let's add a page here. Okay, I may not have this right, but you're supposed to hold down and you get a page slider. Okay, activate the quick page turning bar, one finger long press. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, so doing that brings up this bar. I see, so, okay. All right, I'll have to play with that and get used to that, but that's interesting. We'll click on that, go back in. All right, so we've looked at the design of the device, we've looked at the slider, we've looked at the Feelwrite. What we're left with is landscape. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a new note and see if I can do that into landscape mode. Let's create a new note there. So there's horizontal. Let's look at all the templates that are available. And there's 3 pages of templates, so I actually get quite a few. So there's what, 4, 8, 12. Double it for 24. And 4 more for 28. We'll pick this one. And we'll just create. There we go. Okay, so there's an option there. And there it is in landscape mode. All right, so I had to swipe down from the top and then activate the G sensor from the menu there. Of course, this is your standard options are here as well. But again, we'll go over those in the next video. Click on that. Okay, so that holds it in place. Interesting. Okay, so I've got a little bit of ghosting going on, so I'm going to swipe up. Okay, so that still remains the same. So even though the orientation changed, the bars still remain the same. Let's try that. It did that time. Okay. Maybe it was doing... Okay, finally. Let's bring it back. Nothing to do. All right. I'll have to get used to that. Okay. So anyway, that is in a nutshell. So in order to get back, we'll turn that on, and then we'll freeze it. We'll unclick that. All right. Pretty straightforward. Well, that's all the features that are new that I wanted to go over in this video. So let's kind of summarize. So first off, clear design, love it. Great design. I think it makes the device look a lot sleeker. It's a thinner device than the original A6. It's a really nice design. You've got your USB port and your power on top. That's a little bit different than the previous that used to have it here on the bottom, like so. So that's great. Love the design. Love the fact that it has expandable SD card slot. That's perfect. The sidebar seems to work really well. I have to kind of get used to it a little bit, but the eraser certainly seemed to work. The redo and undo worked well. The page templates worked. Landscape templates great. The only reservation I have upon my first touches with this device is I'm just not a huge fan of the Feelwrite screen. Not yet a fan. So but I wasn't. I'm getting a little used to it. So we'll see how as I play with this more how I like it. And I'm not a tremendous. I'm good with this pop-up pen, but I think the color is it leaves something to be desired. And this was the only color available at launch. So hopefully they'll improve upon that, or maybe I'll just stick with the tried and tested Heart of Metal Pen 2. All right, that is the overview of the Nomad. I hope this was helpful. Again, we'll do a couple of videos. We'll do a tour of the UI, and then I'll give my my more refined impressions of these changes and this particular device as I've had more time to work with it. Otherwise, until next time, I hope you have a great day.